Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing my August wrap-up, and I do apologize, it is a little bit late. I've read 11 books during the month of August. Many of them were either ebooks or audiobooks. In the first 2 weeks I participated in the Read Your E-Reader Readathon, Year 3, and I read 2 novellas and 2 novels. The first novella was The Dead House, a companion novel by Dawn Kurtagich. This is the companion book to The Dead House, which was her debut novel. I also read the novella by Cameron Chaney, There Are Monsters Here. Cameron Chaney is a fellow booktuber here, and this was his debut novella. Then I read the novel The Venetian by Shani Struthers. This is the first book in her This Haunted World series. And then I read Jeremy Bates's The Catacombs, and this is his second book in the World's Scariest Places series. Now I won't discuss these books here, I already did a wrap-up on these, and I'll post a link to what I thought about the books down below. The first audiobook I listened to during the month of August was A Scone to Die For by H.Y. Hannah. I came across this one on my library channel. Love the cover, something just so cute about it, even with that cute chubby cat. Still a dog person, don't worry, my loyalties have not changed. This is about the story about a American tourist is found dead, choked to death on a scone behind Gemma Rose's tea house in Oxford. And this is the first in her Oxford Tea Room Mystery series. But the papers report, death by scone, and her tea room is posted on there, and it doesn't look good for business, so she sets out trying to find the murderer, because it comes to believe it wasn't accidental death. And along with 4 other kind of old villagers, 4 old women, are kind of poking their nose into it as well, and there were some really humorous incidences in it. But anyway, I really enjoyed this mystery series. There's like 6 other ones listed on Goodreads, so I definitely want to check those out, and I gave this one 5 stars. Next up, I listened to the audio of Library of Souls. This is the 3rd book in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series by Ransom Riggs. I really enjoyed the series as it began. Even book 2 was a really good book. I think 3 started to stretch it out a little bit longer than I wanted. It seemed very repetitious. The same kind of dangerous situations the kids find themselves in, and then they escape from, and then they are trapped again, and then they escape from it. Very repetitious. Got a little on my nerves after a while. I do like the quirkiness of the peculiar children and with their abilities and all that, but got a little bored with it towards the end, gave it 3 stars. Another audiobook I listened to during the month of August was Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. This is my first experience with Kafka, and it's apparently one of his most well-known ones. It's a very slim little novel, very quick to get through, particularly on audio. It's about a man named Gregor Samsa. He's sort of the sole provider of his family, and one day he's running very late for work. When he gets up, he's kind of scrambling to, get going. His family's wondering why he isn't on the bus. He's going to miss work, and they're very concerned because he's the sole provider. Like I said, the rest just they don't seem to do anything. But the strange thing is, Gregor Samsa has woken up as a giant insect, a rather hideous-looking beetle, and it's making things rather difficult for him. Once the family finds out, they seem more concerned about the fact that he won't be able to provide for the family rather than the fact that he's just turned into a giant insect. Even he seems more concerned about that. It was a very weird book. I liked the writing. It was intriguing, strange little story, kind of dealing with alienation and loneliness. I felt very bad for Gregor. Like I said, his family doesn't seem to care for him at all. He ends up kind of just, like they try to forget about him. They shut him up in his room. They almost practically barricade it, and that seems to be his whole world after a while. Really sad, kind of depressing story. But yeah, I don't know, it was bizarre, but it makes me want to read more of his works. But overall I gave it 3 stars. And then the last audiobook I listened to was The Snake, the Crocodile, and the Dog by Elizabeth Peters. This is the 7th book in her Amelia Peabody series, so I won't go into too much detail for spoiler reasons, but events in book 6 kind of lead to Emerson being kidnapped in book 7, and the main plot of it is Amelia going off to rescue him. We don't see a lot of Ramses in this book. He does make his presence known, though, through the letters that he writes to Amelia, the long-winded, very humorous letters. There's still a lot, like I said, lots of humor in this, lots of good intrigue and mystery. I just continue to enjoy this series. Definitely recommend you guys give it a try. It is a 20-book series, but, you don't have to necessarily read all 20 books, but definitely begin at the beginning, because that'll get you into all the characters and the relationships within, the family units and stuff. But I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 5 stars. Moving on to physical books, which there are, I think, just 3 here, actually. The first one was a manga. This is Corpse Party Blood Covered, Volume 5. This is by Makoto Kedoen and art by Toshimi Shinomiya. Kind of chunky book, but there's not a lot of text. It's not heavily text-based. There's a lot of action. It's a horror manga. It can get, as you can see, quite gruesome, lots of deaths within it, but it's very intriguing. A bunch of students from school become trapped in kind of the, I don't know, another dimension where a previous school used to be that was torn down after some murders took place, and they find themselves sort of being hunted. A lot of them, their personalities start to change, and they get quite evil because of the ghosts and things that are haunting them. And it's you know, you're wondering, are they going to be able to escape from this place? Like I said, it's quite gruesome, but really intriguing. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and overall I gave this one 4 stars. And it's a nice short series, too. You know, for 5 volumes, you know, if you want to try your hand at manga and you like that kind of genre of horror, you'll definitely get something out of that one. Then I read a novel. This is a strange manuscript found in a copper cylinder by James DeMille. This is a Canadian classic that was published after the author's death back in the late 1800s. And I just stumbled upon it at a used bookshop. I saw this thin little volume here with a very strange title, and when I pulled it out and looked at the cover, I thought, that sounds really intriguing. So it's sort of a story within a story. We have 4 sailors who come across this copper cylinder. When they open up, they find a manuscript written by a man who was shipwrecked. His name is Adam Moore, and it's the tale of what's become of him. He's hoping that if anybody finds this manuscript, they will get information to his father, so his father will know what happened to him. You know, he disappeared, and it seems like he will not be able to return home for reasons kind of beyond his abilities. So what we come to find out is a very remarkable story of where he ends up. As he's shipwrecked, he comes across a strange society, people that are, it seems like a utopian society at first, but it's very different from the Victorian England he's from. The people there seem to prefer poverty to wealth, prefer darkness to light, prefer death to life. It's the greatest achievement, what everyone, you know, aspires to, which makes the overall work appear sort of satirical in nature. But I really enjoyed the bizarre world that he finds himself in. There's also sort of like prehistoric creatures that seem to still be roaming the earth in that area. Like I said, he finds himself trapped there amongst these strange people that don't even speak any language that he can understand, at least for a time. After a while, he does pick up the language and is able to converse with these people and find out more about their society and how different it is from his. I felt some of those conversations kind of kept getting a little bit repetitious throughout the book. We do keep getting him questioning these people over and over, and they seem very shocked by the world he's from as well. As I said, it is sort of a story within a story. Those 4 sailors we do return to throughout the novel. As they kind of are reading the novel like out loud, each one takes a turn, and then they stop at a certain point and kind of discuss what they've read so far and the believability of it. One of the sailors thinks it's sort of a manuscript written by an author that's just doing this as a publicity stunt and just chucked it in the water hoping that someone will, you know, discover it and be intrigued by it. But others believe that the story is true. But I found it really fascinating. It was a really good read overall. I'm curious to see if he has anything else published. Like I said, I think it said, yeah, this one was published after his death, but I'm not sure like what else he has out. I haven't had a chance to really do any more research in it, but I really enjoyed this one, and I gave it 4 stars. And the last book I read was actually a play. This is part of Shake Tube Readathon, which is a read-along of Shakespeare plays for the next 15 weeks, through from the end of August through December. We're reading like 15 various plays. And the very first one we started out with was The Taming of the Shrew. This was a really good play. I had never actually read it before. I had seen, you know, videos or movie versions of the play before, but yeah, first time sitting down reading it, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I won't go into a discussion about it here. I will put a link down below to my discussion video about this particular play down below, so you can go check it out. But yeah, that is my August wrap-up. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.